We're already halfway through July and I have so much left to read. Hey y'all, this is Tasha and welcome to Amazing Reads. Today I wanted to come to you today with my 6 books that I've read in the first half of July. I read 3 physical books and 3 ebooks, I think, something like that. But I wanted to talk about them, and then I will do end of month stats and everything else. And everything that I read from today onward will be in the second half. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. First book that I read in July was The Voting Booth by Brandy Colbert. This book is about Marva and Duke who meet at the polls. Marva's so excited to vote in her first election. Duke is just doing his civil duty. Something happens where Duke does not get to vote initially, and Marva decides that she's going to help him. This book talks about a lot of big issues like voter suppression, being black in America, lessons that we teach our black children, and how to use your voice and stand up and do everything that you need to do to make sure that you aren't being walked all over. It also discusses being black and white. The Voting Booth came out on July 7th, and I highly recommend that you pick it up. And I really do suggest that we get this in the hands of as many teens as possible, because it does talk about the importance of voting and everything that goes along with that. So the first book was The Voting Booth by Brandy Colbert. The second book that I finished is Pride by Ibi Zoboi. I listened to this on audio. Elizabeth Acevedo is the narrator, so of course the audio was amazing. The Elizabeth Bennet of the story is Yuri Benitez. She's the second to oldest daughter in this family of 5 daughters, and she loves her city. She loves Brooklyn where she lives, and there's a new family that moves in across the street who redid an old abandoned building and turned it into a luxury home. This book goes into gentrification, neighborhood pride, accepting change. A lot of the themes are the same that they are in Pride and Prejudice. Some of them are different, but overall I really did enjoy this. It wasn't my favorite because I did find the main character a little bit annoying. Not in the way that Elizabeth Bennet can annoy you. It was a way that I didn't enjoy. So I still would recommend this. Definitely recommend getting it on audio. And this is Pride by Ibi Zoboi. The next book that I read was Ash by Sophie Lark. And I did receive this for free for review from Book Siren. And in this story, it's a mafia romance that follows Lara and Dom. And everything is pretty standard romance. They have a meet cute, they meet back up, their secrets revealed, they end up madly in love, they're from warring families. It was just pretty standard, nothing special. I did give this 3 stars, so I mean that's fine. I don't think I did star ratings for the other 2 books. I gave The Voting Booth 5 stars. I gave Pride 4 stars. I gave the audiobook for Pride 5 stars. And then this one was a 3-star. It was nothing amazing. I mean, they were pretty much together for like the last 20% of the book. Not my absolute favorite. I kind of like it to linger a little bit more. I didn't know where the book was going. I was like, well, what is the point of this last 20%? But I mean, if it's worth checking out, it's fine. The next book that I finished was Dreadnation by Justina, Ireland. This is an alternate history book that takes place during the Civil War, or post-Civil War, actually. And in this story, we follow Jane McKean, who is a biracial girl who is training at one of the schools that trains up black girls to become zombie hunters, essentially. In this world, the dead on the battlefield in Gettysburg rose up, and now they're zombies. I also listened to this on audio, and I think that increased my enjoyment of it. I'm not a big fan of zombie books, but this one really did capture me, and I really was excited because the zombies were a little bit different. This book also tackles issues of what post-Civil War was like in the South. It talks about passing. One of the girls is white passing, and they use that to their advantage. It talks about the propriety of women in that time and how they were treated. There's just a lot of themes in there. I have heard some stuff about the indigenous rep in here. He really wasn't. He was kind of a throwaway character, which is terrible because his name was like John Redskin or something, and that kind of was icky. But overall, I really enjoyed this story, and I do want to continue in this series. I gave this one a 3.5, 4 stars. I really enjoyed the story and where it was going, so I can't wait to continue. The 5th book that I read this month was Mirage by Somaiya Daud. I did a buddy read of this with Fadwa, Whitney, and Destiny, and it was a reread for 3 of us, and it was Whitney's first time reading it. Enjoyed this the first time. Rereading it and getting all the cultural significance that's in here was so much more enriching and powerful. And Fadwa sent us a song that is mentioned in the book, and it just totally enhanced the scene to actually listen to the song. It was just great. It was great. It was my first buddy read ever. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to get into the second book, Court of Lions. I have an arc of it. I'm going to be reading it soon, and I'm on the blog tour for Court of Lions. I'm so excited that I decided to reread this book and really dive into it, and I highly recommend this book. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars on the reread, and I definitely would recommend that you pick this up. And I mean, I can't recommend the sequel, but I'm really excited to get to it. The 6th book that I've completed for the month of July is Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by Kwame and Mbalia. This book was so good. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I knew I was going to like it. I didn't expect to completely fall in love with all the characters in this book. This follows Tristan Strong, who comes from a family of boxers. At the beginning of the story, he just lost his first boxing match, and so his dad and his grandpa are like giving him crap about it. But Tristan also recently lost his best friend Eddie to something that we find out later in the book. So Tristan's family sends him to his grandparents' farm so that he can just get away from the city. He's from Chicago. And so that he can go and work hard and get ready for his next bout. While he's there on the first night, he wakes up to somebody trying to steal the journal that was from his best friend Eddie. And so he chases after the little doll creature, Gum Baby, which is my favorite character in the book. The adventure starts when he crosses over into Alki under the bottle tree. It accidentally releases a haint, which is like a spirit, into the new world, and inadvertently punches a hole in the sky in this new world. And then adventure ensues. American folklore with John Henry, Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox is in here. It also talks about the African mythology that came over with slaves, and it goes into that, and the literal bad guys are chains that are trying to lock on Tristan. So take with that what you will. The thing that I love about this book, and what Rick Riordan and the authors that he picks for this, the diverse authors he picks, is that we get to learn about a mythology that we don't often hear about. And so that was another reason why I was really excited to read this. This book was so fun. The pacing was fast. The adventures were fun. Highly, highly recommend this. I got my copy from my friend Star. So thank you, Star. She sent it to me as an early birthday present. But I am obsessed with this book. I'm obsessed with this series. I want to give it to everybody. This is it. So Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky. Can y'all see that? There we go. That's everything that I completed this month. I hope to complete another book tonight on the 15th. And let's just go over what I'm currently reading. Halfway through The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. There was just a reveal that happened that totally shook me. I was reading it on break at work, and I was just, it shook me. This book is so good. I like that we're getting the third perspective in this book. I don't want to ruin anything for the first book if you haven't read it, but the third perspective and seeing all the political machinations and the discussion of racism and things like that in this book is so interesting to me, and it's really heightening the story. Finding all the family connections and all that kind of stuff is just really, really heightening the story for me, and I can't wait to finish that, which I'm going to try to finish it this weekend, because next week I really want to focus on any remaining July arcs and early August arcs. So I want to go ahead and try to finish that this weekend. The next book that I'm in the middle of is Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland. This book is so dark. It's so good. The main character is asexual, Kwame, and it goes into what it's like to be asexual and discovering how to identify that asexuality. There's also a trans character in here. There's gay characters. The representation is very good in here, in my opinion. It's very diverse, and it's not something where they're throwing it in your face. It's just a part of this world. Like, Kwame is asexual. That's what it is. The plot of this is Somaiya is a soul walker, and she's living in a manner with her mom, the man posing as her mom's husband, and the guy's son. One day Somaiya is soul walking, and she sees a black door, and her mom is like, don't ever open that door. She's been told that her whole life. And Somaiya is like, all right, I won't touch it, but like, what is it? And Somaiya thinks that she doesn't have a soul, so nobody can walk in her soul, but she can walk in other people's soul. Somaiya's mom is, the plot takes off when Somaiya's mom is killed, and Kwame must escape, and then things happen from there. Kwame obviously opens the black door, and then that's when everything really starts to take off. This has a lot of court intrigue, a lot of discussion of feminism. Like I said, there's a lot of representation in here. I'm really enjoying it. I have about 100 pages left. Dinner is already ready because I ordered pizza, so I'm hoping that I can go ahead and knock this out tonight and move on to some of the other reads. And if you follow me on Twitter, I was talking about how when I get to the last 100 pages of a book, I pick up another book, so that I'm constantly reading a physical book. There's always at least one on the go. So the physical book that I decided to pick up was There Will Come a Darkness. This is due back at the library next week, so I really need to knock it out. And this one so far, I only read one chapter, but I started it, and I don't really know a whole lot about it. Let's see. For generations, the 7 prophets used their visions of the future to end wars and unite nations until the day 100 years ago when they disappeared. So that's the beginning of the synopsis, and the tagline says, the deceiver ensnares the world with lies. To death's pale hand the wicked fall. That which sleeps in the dust shall rise, and in their wake will come a darkness. I mean, it sounds good to me. I can't wait to go ahead and get into this soon, which is why I want to finish Beyond the Black Door and probably read about half of this over the next couple days. And this is There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole, and I believe the second book for this series comes out in September, so I would really like to get this read before then. The next book I'm slowly making my way through is A Phoenix, can you see that? A Phoenix First Must Burn, edited by Patrice Caldwell. I am about 5 stories in. This is a short story collection that features Black authors. and they center Black girls, non-binary, and trans people in fantasy settings, fantasy stories. There's been a dragon in one. They've been in space. There's been time travel. There's a whole lot of popular YA authors that are in here. I know that Elizabeth Acevedo is in here, Ibi Zoboi, Rebecca Rowanhorse, Somaiya Daud, Justina Ireland, L.L. McKinney, Danielle Clayton. I'm really excited for Patrice Caldwell's because hers features vampires, which, if you don't know, vampires are my absolute favorite. And so I'm just really excited to get to her story. I am just slowly reading a story or two a day until I finish it. I really want to savor this collection, but I already recommend it. This is one of my most anticipated releases of the year, so I'm so happy to finally be getting to it, and it's a Phoenix First Must Burn. My current audiobook listen is Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams. This is like a Black Bridget Jones diary, but grittier. Queenie comes from a family of Jamaican immigrants, and she lives in London, and her boyfriend breaks up with her, and then she gets some other kind of news at the very beginning of the story. I am about maybe almost 100 pages into this, and it's okay. I'm not loving it. Queenie's not my favorite character. For her age, she's a lot more reckless than I think she should be, but that comes off as judgy, so that's not my intention. But I feel like she should be making better decisions, but the thing is, she knows she should be making better decisions. So, like, I'm not judging, do you, boo, but just, she's not very likable. Maybe when we figure out what all of her hangups are, I will enjoy her story more. But right now, I'm just kind of meh about it, and I just listen to this on my commute to and from work because I actually have to leave the house to go to work. And I'm just enjoying it. I listen to it at my desk and other things. But this is Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams. So that is everything that I've read in July so far and everything that I am currently reading. I will probably do a batch review for the arcs that I read next week, just to motivate me to actually finish them, one, and two, to be able to talk about all of them in one video and then have individual blog posts is the plan. We'll see. Also, there are a couple of small romances that I want to try to squeeze in before I start reading all the arcs this weekend. We don't really have plans. I might go to work every day, but we're still in quarantine, so I just have a few things to do around the house, and then I just plan on reading. So that's everything that I read so far in the month of July and everything that I have in progress. So if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Follow me on social media. I'm pretty active on Twitter most days. I am also active on Instagram. Go to the blog, all of that. Go everywhere. Come talk to me. I'm so happy and thankful for 100 subscribers. I will be celebrating every milestone that I do because I did something out of my comfort zone, which was start this channel. So any milestone that I hit, I'm going to celebrate it, and I'm very excited about the 100 subscribers. So thank you all so much for subscribing. If there's nothing else, then I will see you all in the next video. Bye.